My mother accused me of theft to protect her new family, but I proved my innocence. Hey, I'm Alex Nain, and my life is as exciting as watching paint dry in a small-town hardware store. The wildest drama around here usually involves Karen from the PTA having a public meltdown over oat milk shortages at Starbucks. So, imagine my confusion when I came home one evening and saw a police car sitting in front of my house. Not just any house, the boringest house in existence. At first, I thought maybe a neighbor had finally snapped and gone full Florida man. But nope. This was about me. I stepped inside, and there was my mom. Karen. Yes, her real name. And yes, she's the definition. Glaring at me like I just set a baby goat on fire. Standing behind her was Greg, her new husband, who always smells faintly of Axe body spray and disappointment, and his precious daughter Jenna, the human embodiment of I deserve better. Before I could even drop my bag, my mom pointed a finger at me, her voice dripping with drama. Alex, we know what you did. You stole the family's emergency fund. What? Apparently $10,000 had vanished into thin air from a safe I didn't even know existed. And who better to blame than the hardworking teenager who barely has time to eat a proper meal between shifts at the local diner. The way they looked at me, you'd think I was some Ocean's 11-level mastermind plotting my next heist. Greg crossed his arms and puffed out his chest like he was auditioning for a bad cop show. We trusted you, Alex, he said, like I'd just betrayed the entire family. Jenna stood there smirking like she just won the lottery. Spoiler, she kind of did. The whole scene felt like a bad episode of Judge Judy, except I was the sad idiot being yelled at while the real criminals were sitting there looking self-satisfied. The police officer turned to me with that fake calm voice they use when talking to toddlers or people who've clearly messed up their lives. Why don't you calmly explain your side? He said, like I was supposed to whip out a PowerPoint on the spot. My side, dude. I didn't even know there was a side until 5 minutes ago when my life decided to audition for a daytime soap opera. But apparently, my mom had it all figured out. In her infinite Karen-ness, she had already decided I was guilty. No trial, no evidence. Just guilty because I said so. Then Greg, her charming new husband, note the sarcasm, decided to step into his big man-of-the-house role. He crossed his arms, puffed out his chest like he was about to wrestle a bear, and said, "We've noticed Alex has been acting suspicious lately." Suspicious? Oh, sure, because working double shifts at a diner that smells like burnt hash browns and despair is so criminally suspicious. What's next? Accusing me of laundering pancake syrup? Meanwhile, Jenna, the queen of smug, was standing there with her knockoff Gucci bag. Yes, I could tell. And no, I didn't need a second look. And a manicure that cost more than my weekly paycheck. She had that look, you know, the one rich kids give when they get away with stealing someone's lunch money. Spoiler alert, she wasn't just stealing lunches. She probably had my family's emergency fund tucked away in that fake bag. I tried to defend myself. Honestly, I did. I was like, wait, you seriously think But my mom cut me off faster than an overzealous TikTok editor. She hit me with the most cliche line ever. Don't make this harder than it has to be. If you confess, we can work through this as a family. Oh, now we're a family? How convenient. Let's just ignore the part where she spent the last 2 years pretending Jenna was the second coming of Beyoncé while treating me like the backup dancer who tripped during the performance. I opened my mouth to respond, but honestly, what do you even say to that? It's like trying to reason with a brick wall that thinks it's always right. My mom was already sold on the idea that I was some kind of criminal genius. Meanwhile, the actual thief was standing 2 feet away, probably plotting her next shopping spree. It was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever experienced. And trust me, I've worked a lot of night shifts. The cops didn't cuff me, thank God, because I'd rather swallow my dignity than see my mugshot plastered on the local news. But they made it clear my mom wasn't bluffing if I didn't magically cough up $10,000. The same $10,000 I definitely didn't take, she'd press charges. Oh, and to sweeten the deal, she straight up said she'd kick me out if I didn't come clean. Come clean? There wasn't even a stain to clean in the first place. But, sure, Mom, let's just throw your son to the wolves to impress your shiny new family. Parenting 101. So I left. No coat, no cash, Just me. A backpack with yesterday's clothes and whatever shreds of self-respect I had left. It was like being voted off the island, except instead of a tropical paradise, I got my mom's driveway in the freezing cold. I called my best friend Tyler, who is hands down the most unbothered human on earth. He picked up after 2 rings, sounding groggy as hell. "Dude, it's late. What's up?" "I just got kicked out." There was a pause. Then, in classic Tyler fashion, he said, "What the hell did you do?" "Nothing. My mom thinks I stole her emergency fund." Now, Tyler is a lot of things. Chill, sarcastic, perpetually broke. But he is not the type to hold back laughter. I wasn't even halfway through the story before he was dying on the other end of the line. I swear, he almost choked on his soda. "Bro, your family is insane. Like next-level reality TV insane." No kidding. I crashed at his place, sleeping on his lumpy couch, while his cat, Mr. Whiskers, stared at me like I was some squatter about to steal his kibble. The whole night, I replayed the scene at my house in my head over and over, like some glitchy horror movie on repeat. And the more I thought about it, the angrier I got. Something about the whole situation felt wrong. Like, really wrong. Let's be real. My mom wasn't exactly the sharpest tool in the shed, but she wasn't stupid enough to leave $10,000 in some easy-to-find spot. And Jenna, with her fake Gucci purse and fresh manicure, was way too smug for someone who allegedly didn't know where the money went. Tyler, in his infinite wisdom, took a swig of soda and said, "Dude, this smells fishier than that diner you work at. You should dig around, man. Something's up." And he was right. I wasn't about to let my mom and her wannabe Stepford family ruin my life. They wanted a villain? Fine, I'd be the villain, but I was going to take them down with me. The next day, I woke up on Tyler's couch with a crick in my neck and Mr. Whiskers judging me from the armrest. But I wasn't about to let a cat's death glare ruin my mission. I had a goal: figure out what the hell was going on. I started digging. Mentally, not literally, though I wouldn't have put it past Jenna to bury the cash in the backyard. I replayed every suspicious thing she'd ever done. You know, like that time she accidentally spilled juice on my laptop, or when she stole my fries and claimed it was fair game. Jenna had always been a little schemer, but this was Olympic-level scheming. Then it hit me like a brick to the face. I remembered something I saw on her Instagram last week. Jenna had posted a selfie showing off these ridiculously expensive designer boots. Real ones, not her usual fake Gucci garbage. The caption? "Treat yourself." Excuse me, what? How does a broke teenager who still gets an allowance from Daddy Greg suddenly afford $1,200 boots? I showed the post to Tyler, who took one look and snorted. Man, she's either got a sugar daddy or she's lying her butt off. Either way, it's sketchy as hell. Sketchy didn't even begin to cover it. So we came up with a plan. Tyler, who somehow knows every shady trick in the book, suggested he pretend to be interested in buying Jenna's boots. His theory? Get her talking, stroke her ego, and she'd spill the beans faster than a leaky faucet. The next part played out like a heist movie, except Jenna was the unsuspecting villain and Tyler was the undercover agent with zero subtlety. He slid into her DMs with the smoothness of a rusty bicycle chain. "Hey, saw your boots on Insta. They're fire. Want to sell them?" To my shock, Jenna actually took the bait. Geese, she responded within 5 minutes, probably thrilled someone was paying attention to her fashion choices. Tyler kept the conversation going, laying it on thick. "These are legit designer, right? Like, where'd you even get the cash for these? You must have some rich taste." And oh boy, Jenna couldn't resist. She started bragging, saying she had a secret stash of cash she found, hidden in some random drawer in the house. Oh sure, Jenna. You just stumbled upon a pile of money like it was a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Totally believable. Tyler screenshot the entire conversation and showed it to me, grinning like he'd just cracked a CIA code. Dude, she's guilty as hell. What now? What now, indeed. Jenna thought she was untouchable, but she just handed me the evidence I needed on a silver platter. Game on, little brat. Game on. Armed with all the dirt on Jenna, I marched back into the house like I owned the place. No way was I letting this slide. As soon as I stepped through the door, Mom was already mid-yell. "Stop blaming Jenna! You've always been jealous of her!" Jealous? Of Jenna? Yeah, sure, I've been dying to trade my life for her fake Gucci purse and her complete lack of a moral compass. Honestly, I'd rather drink bleach while listening to her TikTok playlist on repeat. Mom, just look at this, I said, shoving my phone in her face. She tried to swat it away, but curiosity got the better of her. I watched as her eyes scanned Jenna's Instagram post, those ridiculously expensive boots with the oh-so-humble caption, "Treat yourself." Then she moved on to the DMs where Jenna basically confessed to being the house's resident burglar. Her face turned the color of day-old oatmeal. Before she could process, Greg decided it was his moment to shine. "Jenna would never steal," he said, puffing out his chest like some low-budget action hero. "She's a good kid." "Oh, totally, Greg," I snapped. "Good kids always find $10,000 lying around and use it to fund their designer boot addiction. You must be so proud." Mom looked like she was about to say something, but I cut her off. "Maybe if you spent more time actually parenting and less time trying to pretend you're the cool stepdad, you'd notice what's going on under your roof." Greg's mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. No words, just stunned silence. Then, right on cue, the star of the show, Jenna sauntered into the room. She crossed her arms and smirked. "You're just mad because I have nicer things than you." I laughed out loud. "Oh, Jenna, you're right. I am jealous. I wish I had your talent for stealing money and blowing it on useless junk. Truly inspiring." She tried to glare at me, but it was hard to look intimidating when your entire scheme was crumbling faster than a cheap Jenga tower. Mom, meanwhile, was frozen in place, her Karen brain clearly struggling to compute. "This doesn't prove anything," she finally muttered, grasping at straws. "Really?" I said, raising an eyebrow. "Then let's call the cops and show them these screenshots. Maybe they'll figure it out for you." That shut her up. I turned to leave, but not before delivering the final blow. "Congrats, Mom. You raised a thief. Enjoy the mess." And with that, I walked out, leaving them to stew in their disaster. One thing was clear. This wasn't over. Not by a long shot. Greg finally snapped. I could see the vein in his forehead about to burst as he shouted, "Fine, Jenna made a mistake, but you still don't belong in this house." And just like that, the final puzzle piece clicked into place. This wasn't about the missing money. It was never about the money. No, this was about me. I didn't fit into their little perfect new family aesthetic, the one where Greg played the role of the world's most clueless stepdad, Jenna was the spoiled princess, and my mom pretended everything was sunshine and rainbows. They didn't want me around, and they'd found the easiest way to push me out, turn me into the villain. I stared at Greg, who was still fuming like a broken kettle, and then at my mom, who stood there with her arms crossed, avoiding eye contact like she was the victim in all this. Jenna, meanwhile, just smirked from her spot in the corner, looking like a smug little Disney villain. "You really believe this, don't you?" I said, addressing the room. "You actually think this is the way to fix your problems? Just shove me out and pretend everything's fine?" Mom finally spoke up, but her voice was shaky. "You need to leave, Alex. It's what's best for everyone." Best for everyone? Right, because being homeless and betrayed by my own family is just the ticket to success. I grabbed my bag, my heart pounding with equal parts anger and hurt. But I wasn't about to give them the satisfaction of seeing me break down. No tears, no begging, just facts. As I reached the door, I turned back to face my mom. "One day, you're going to regret this," I said, my voice calm but cutting. "But by then, I won't care." Greg muttered something under his breath, but I didn't stick around to hear it. I walked out of that house, my house, for the last time, shutting the door behind me with a finality that sent chills down my spine. The air outside felt colder than usual, but it was nothing compared to the ice in my chest. They'd made their choice, and I was done fighting for a place where I was never wanted in the first place. Over the next few weeks, Tyler and I became the Sherlock and Watson of small-town drama. If Sherlock was fueled by rage, and Watson by leftover pizza. We combed through every scrap of evidence, every transaction, every shady Instagram post Jenna had ever made. And oh boy, did we strike gold. Not only had Jenna swiped the $10,000 emergency fund, but she'd also been going full shopaholic gone wild on my mom's credit card for months. I'm talking spa days, overpriced skincare, and enough online shopping to make Jeff Bezos blush. Honestly, I was impressed by her sheer audacity. With our evidence in hand, screenshots, transaction histories, and even a laughably bad attempt at forging my mom's signature, we marched down to the police station like we were delivering a bombshell expose. The officer on duty barely raised an eyebrow when I told him what was going on, but once he saw the stack of proof, even he muttered, "Wow, that's a lot." A few days later, the cops rolled up to my mom's house, and let me tell you, it was glorious. Tyler and I watched from a safe distance, because why miss out on the drama? As Greg tried to play the victim, he was all, "This is a misunderstanding," and "Jenna's a good kid." Yeah, Greg, and I'm the Queen of England. But the cops weren't buying it. They laid out the evidence like they were presenting a true crime documentary, and Jenna crumbled faster than a stale cookie. She started sobbing those crocodile tears, the kind that scream, "I'm sorry I got caught," not "I'm sorry I did it." "I just wanted to fit in," she wailed, mascara running down her face. Fit in with what? The Real Housewives of small-town USA? Greg tried to shield her, but even he looked like he was rethinking his life choices. My mom, on the other hand, was eerily quiet, probably too stunned to process the fact that her perfect family was a dumpster fire. Later that night, my phone buzzed. It was my mom. Against my better judgment, I picked up. "Alex," she said, her voice shaky, "I'm so sorry. I didn't know. We can fix this. We're still family." I laughed. Not a happy laugh, a "you've got to be kidding me" laugh. "No, Mom," I said, my tone ice cold. "We're not family. Not anymore." She tried to respond, but I hung up. It felt final, like shutting the door on a part of my life that had been dragging me down for too long. For the first time in weeks, I felt something close to peace. Jenna got exposed, Greg got humiliated, and my mom, well, she finally realized the cost of putting her new family over her actual son. So here I am now, living the bachelor life on Tyler's lumpy couch while I hustle to save up for my own place. It's not glamorous. Think ramen dinners and the occasional argument with Tyler's cat, Mr. Whiskers, over who gets the better spot on the couch. But you know what? It's peaceful. And peace is something I hadn't felt in a long time. As for Jenna, oh, karma caught up with her real quick. She got slapped with community service, which honestly is a joke considering how much chaos she caused. But the idea of her picking up trash on the highway in her designer knockoffs? Priceless. I'd pay good money to see that. Greg didn't get off easy either. Turns out having a stepdaughter who commits grand theft and a wife who ignores red flags doesn't look great on your resume. Word spread fast in our small town, and Greg's boss decided he wasn't a good fit anymore. Bye-bye, Greg. Hope the job market treats you as kindly as you treated me. And my mom? Well, she's been trying to do damage control. She's called, texted, even sent emails like she's applying for forgiveness. I blocked her on everything. She had her chance, and she blew it. Multiple times. I don't have room in my life for people who only remember I exist when their world falls apart. Tyler, being the legend that he is, keeps reminding me I made the right choice. Dude, family's not about DNA. It's about who's there when you need them. And let's be real, your mom and Greg were about as helpful as a screen door on a submarine. He's right. Family isn't about blood. It's about who's got your back when the chips are down. And if you ask me, I'm better off without them. I've got Tyler, a solid game plan for my future, and the satisfaction of knowing I stood up for myself when no one else would. For the first time in forever, I'm not just surviving, I'm starting to live.